All right, Buenos Dias. Pocket Change Market Report, the weekend edition, August 17, 2022. We are going to dive in to this great, wonderful report that we do twice a week. At least that's what I try and do, right? I know it hasn't been quite like that. There's been some inconsistencies in getting this out to you guys, and I do apologize about that. It's summertime. Life happens, vacationing happens. I need a break. um, but this is part of the passion right here. This is what we all live for. I have a great big bag of Lincoln Cents that I'm going to be going through here this weekend, and it's going to be all because of some of the things that we find out there in the world today. Now, everything you're going to see here, everything's sold on eBay. True blue finds. You know, whether it's going through bank rolls from the bank or cherry picking something really awesome at a coin shop or show. Believe me, there's been quite a few shows that a lot of people are attending. The ANA Money Show, the World's Fair Money Show, just occurred, so that's kind of a big deal, you know. And as we head into the months of fall, you know, the market is going to pick up even further. You know, the kids are going to be heading back to school. We're going to have more time to do some of these hunts. Really, really, add something nice to your 9 to 5 daily job, huh? Yeah, you guys deserve it. So we're gonna take a look at some of the coins that people have resold here on eBay within the last 12 to 24 hours. Everything ungraded. You guys know the drill. Grading doesn't necessarily add more value to something. That's a common misconception in today's world of numismatics and coin collecting in general. So I figured I just want to go ahead and squash those rumors right away. But most of all, have fun. Have fun. When you're having fun, the good things will come to you. If you're not having fun and you're beating your head against the wall, you know, probably time to take a step back and just reassess things. Take a breather. We all deserve it. All right. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to exploring what's sold. A lot of great stuff. A lot of great cherry picks. It's pretty incredible just what has sold. It's not even in a graded slab. Pretty neat. Whatnot. All right. This is an incredibly wordy bulletin right here. So I'm going to make it as brief as possible. We do auctions every Friday. Now, I did take this past Friday off. We're going to be back again this coming Friday. So about 6 days from now, with another banging US type bullion currency auction. We do it live at 5 every single Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be giving away an a fresh, brand new copy of the latest Cherry Pickers Guide that covers Lincoln Cents and Nickels. I think it's what is that thing? Volume 1, Edition 6, or something like that. It's whatever the most current, up-to-date one is. Whitman Publishing has reprinted all of the Cherry Pickers Guide, so it's currently available right now. But why wait? Come by the show on Friday. Try and win yourself a copy of that book that people were paying $200 for 6 months ago. Now you don't have to do that. So we have that. If you're not yet signed up, it's okay. You have time between now and next Friday to do that. I'll have my referral link down below in the description box or pinned to the comments section of this video. If you sign up under me, hey, here's how much I love you. I will give you $15 in store credit that you could use right away on your first purchase. It doesn't matter what it is or who you're buying it from. It's my gift to you to join up to one of the fastest growing live auction platforms today. And then finally, the platform, Whatnot, is looking for more sellers. If you feel like you've got that ability to really connect with people and you have all of this extra inventory that you looking to move, hey, look no further. You can supplement eBay really well with Whatnot. And I joined up about a year and a half ago and I've never looked back. It's been one of the best decisions of my life. The platform is second to none. Everything about it, they do so well, and I have a lot of fun. For those of you that join on my weekly shows, you guys understand we do it right. So I look forward to seeing you in some capacity. I'll have my referral link if you want to become a seller down below. Again, in the description box. Come join up. This is a great platform, and you're going to be alongside a bunch of other well-known sellers in the numismatic space. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. You should do it. And speaking of which, we're going to jump right into the show. All right, starting out with a ridiculously off-center Washington quarter. That's what it is. You know, it's even though there's very little information on what the coin is, just the BE on that off-center portion, which by the way is like 98% off-center. It's that nuts. You know that's the type style on a Washington quarter. So we don't need to kind of speculate what coin this is. We know what it is. I mean, what's the allure here? It is a wildly off-center coin. Struck out of collar. Of course, the collar was not behaving itself to keep the coin within the striking chamber. So all sorts of weird madcap stuff happens like this. So this one right here, even though it doesn't have a whole lot of design, nor does it have a readable date, it's okay. Things like these still widely collected. This one was put up in a general regular auction, bid up 20 times to the amount of $30.50. So that's a pretty good sale. Now, if it was a coin that showed more details on the off-center strike, a full date, those coins typically go for a lot more money because they're collected by date. You know, things like this, while an oddity, would make a great conversation piece in your collection. Or if you're a seller, you know how much it sells for. Okay, we always have kind of like, and we throw it in, all right? Because there's no sense of just scrolling on by an auction that really grabs your attention. All right, we're all pretty familiar with probably one of the most valuable mint errors in the mule strikes. All right, and we see that all the time on the Sacagawea state quarter mule pairing, and you know, a mint employee for whatever reason they inadvertently combined a U.S. state quarter obverse with the reverse of a Sacagawea dollar. Here's the thing. If you feel like you found one of these, you have to make sure that the composition is manganese. All right, it's going to be this gold dollar kind of look all throughout, even on the side with the Washington quarter obverse. The problem here with this particular example, and by the time I tell you how much it sold for, it's going to be a crying shame. The problem with this one, and you guys probably already see it, the quarter side of it. It's a nickel. And not to mention that you could see a clear, easy seam all the way around that obverse. Which leads me to believe that a Sacagawea real dollar was milled out, and then a corresponding quarter was also milled out as well, so that way two pieces fit together. Kind of a trick magician's coin, or that's how they make magician's coins with like candy half dollars and things like that, where you have two obverses. So that's what we have here on this one. And again, it's a telltale sign of some shenanigans. This is, it was clearly sold as an error. That's what they put on the listing title. This one is meant to deceive. Unless you absolutely say fantasy piece or something to that effect, you should not be duped by things like this. Okay, the whole coin will be a golden color, even the obverse with the Washington quarter side. 10 bidders, 10 bids altogether. Not guaranteed to be 10 separate bidders, but 10 total bids collected to the tune of $170.86. Now, that seems like a lot of money, but we got to keep in mind, this is a coin when graded and then sold at an auction house. The last few examples have sold right around $100,000. So even though it's sold for $170, it seems like a lot of money. It can end up being an expensive lesson if you're not careful. But at the same time, this one didn't fool a lot of people because it didn't sell for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. If it did, then we'd be talking a whole different story here. But there you go. That's the craziness of, fake US Mint shenanigans. All right, well, I figure we'll keep on going from this one. You guys know better, okay? Steer clear of things like this. They're going to end up being a headache. Unless you really want to pay the kind of money just to have an example, I would say don't spend $170, Pretty easy. All right, now we're back on to the regularly scheduled legit stuff. We have what is a Silver War nickel, and we know that because it has a large, giant P mint mark on the reverse above the dome of Monticello. That's where you know it's a 35% silver manganese composition. So this one here is what they call split after strike. So the coin was struck, the planchet was defective, it split right along the edge, kind of like a clamshell lamination would, but the entire obverse layer had fallen off of this. All right, pretty cool. We know that with the later dates of Buffalo nickels and also the Silver War era of coinage for nickels, there's been a lot of annealing issues, and that's why we have things like laminations and all of that great stuff. This one ended up selling for $72.45. It's a wildly visual kind of piece here, pretty neat. Okay, so we talk about off-center struck and Broadstruck coins on the channel, more so of an educational part of it. But I've had people that have mentioned and commented, what's the use showing off-center and Broadstruck coins? It's unlikely that you're going to find these in circulation. That's true and false. I have found coins like this before, all right? How do I know? I've ripped open many, many hundreds of rolls of half dollars during my time. And I have found about 5 of these over the course of 10 years from about 1997 going all the way in to about mid-2000s. They're actually out there, all right? And this particular one right here is not mint state. This one is about like a high-end AU 55, 58. So this one has been through a few hands. Okay, it took a while for someone to finally realize, like, what in the world is this thing? Some people that don't know any better might think that it was pressed in a vice. It's just one of those things. But really, your area of our opportunity to obtain one of these is going to be a coin shop. You ask about, probably 50% of coin shop owners. Okay, they're not a real fan of mint errors and die varieties. All right, so they'll take coins like this and discount them in a bargain bin to get rid of them. And I've bought many of these type of coins for a couple bucks, $5, $10. It's so cheap, and I know what the market is for these on the secondary to where I know I can make some pretty good money. This is just, again, one of those examples. So we have a nice, slightly off-center Broadstruck on this 1978 Washington quarter. This one ended up selling for $39.45. So if you were at a coin show, and you go to most coin shows, there's going to be bins of like these carded 2x2 coins, like a true bargain bin. You look in there, you're going to find stuff like this for like $8 to $10. Right? They're out there. There's a buttload of them out there. You can take something like that and make 4 times your money. I mean, come on. That's like easy money there. If you don't recognize it, I just don't know what to say. Some people say, well, I have a hard time trying to monetize off this hobby. Well, I mean, you got to get out there and, pound the pavement. That's what we all do. Okay. It's not something, and I wish it were easier that we could just stay at home, be on the interweb and look for this stuff. But, by the time that happens, coins like this, people already know how much the real worth and value of something like this is. That it's really hard to cherry pick coins like this on the cheap when you're scouring eBay to reflip coins. There's a nice little side-by-side of a regular Washington quarter with our Broadstruck one, quite a bit larger. Again, the collar wasn't present during the strike of this coin, so all that metal flow goes outwards and makes the coin a whole heck of a lot bigger than what it's supposed to be. We do talk about older coins as well. Now, this is not too bad. The only thing that is unfortunate is there are scratches on the obverse and reverse. You can see on the shield lines there's some scratches on the reverse. Pretty easy to see, but otherwise it's just a really nice like high-end AU details coin. Now, this particular one was sold as an example with like lots of die cracks on the obverse. I mean, you can see it all the way around the coin. Consider it pretty close to being a shattered die, but they also mentioned that this one has a repunched date. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. And there's a little bit, but you can also see some die cracks and stuff going through the date even. Check out that last 7 there. It looks like there's a little bit of a repunching, which is commonplace for coins of these dates back in the day. If you guys are not aware, Mint employees were punching the date by hand individually, so that's where the misplaced dates and repunch dates come into play. It was just a common practice during that time. But outside of that, it's a decent looking coin in spite of its warts. This one ended up selling for $82.99, and I have a feeling that the coin would sell for that anyways, even if the RPD and the die cracks weren't even brought up. It's just overall a pretty good type coin if you're not, particularly caring about the little bit of scratches that's on the coin. The next one that we have here, this is a wild piece. 1989p Jefferson nickel. What is up with that obverse? Okay, it looks like it's struck through, and it is, but not through grease. This one is actually struck through a very late stage cap die. That cap die was like razor thin, probably like a sheet of paper thin, because a lot of the design details of the die transferred through the cap. All right, so a cap is just simply a coin that was stuck to the obverse die, and it was striking a bunch of other coins with that on there. After a while, with all that pressure, that die cap becomes super thin until it begins to kind of fall apart, rip, crinkle on itself, things like that. You get all sorts of weird looks on it. If you find a coin that's struck through like a wrinkly die cap, it's really neat. So this one right here, sold for $38.99. Again, another coin that even coin dealers get wrong. They look at things like this. They're like, oh yeah, that one struck through grease. And they'll write $2 on the flip, put it in the bargain bin. I see it all the time. And guys like me take advantage of that. It's a lot of fun, right? We do have a couple pieces of paper money on this show today. 1977 $1 bill. Just looks like a regular $1 bill from the front, but when we flip this thing over, what's going on there? That is what they call a fold over. So a corner of the sheet was folded over, and then the printing happened. Now, on this case, we don't see any of the print on any of the corners. So this was probably a very top right edge of sheet or corner of sheet note. Which has large, what they call selvage, a very large margin before the notes were even printed. So in that particular case, there was a fold over, it was printed over on the reverse, and then you have, essentially, it's a fold over / obstruction because the fold over of that subject sheet had obstructed onto the printing area of the note. So this one right here sold for $102.11 with 21 bids. Where these things get really nutty is if the fold over was larger and if you have visible print of the reverse, that green ink on the front of the bill. All right, this one does not have it. So it kind of kept the price at a little bit more manageable level. Another neat one here. I love this one. 1972D. Great catch, by the way, whoever found this one. Lincoln Memorial cent with a really strong clash die on the obverse there. You can see the clash of the Lincoln Memorial on the obverse. You can see it in the front, behind Lincoln there. So how this happens, the presses were rolling as usual, minting coins, and then all of a sudden, a blank planchet doesn't get put into the striking chamber. All right, so the presses will still do its work. It's going to press the area as if there was a blank planchet to produce a coin, and there wasn't there. So the obverse and reverse dies will make contact with each other. Now it appears on this one they put a fresh reverse die in there because I don't see any clashing on that reverse die or that reverse in general. So they just kept the obverse one there. It's a really cool effect. So this one here sold for $23. Beautiful coin, nice minty red flavor here. That seems to be a going price. Could have sold for a lot more. I believe this was a buy now price. So the seller probably didn't know the full potential of this coin. They probably left about $10 on the table, to be honest. I see a lot of like minty red, earlier dates or later date Lincolns sold for around 30 to 35 bucks. So if you do find one of these, always research sold value prices. We also have this $2 bill, 2017A. Always look at your star notes from this particular series date. Always pay attention to the top right star. This one has an over-inked star, which gives it a full solid appearance as star. The star design is supposed to have a little white circle in the middle. So when you have one that is completely filled in, that is an over-inked star. So someone had said, another content creator had said that these things are absolutely worthless. And I'm shaking my head. I'm like, no, they're not. They are a legit mint error or mint error, paper money BEP error. And these $2 bills are serious. This particular one is in great shape. Looks like it came out of a strap. There was actually a few full straps with like $200 face value of these notes. That every single one had an over-inked star. I could only imagine how much a full 100-note strap with the over-inked star would go for. Probably, if I had to guess, I don't know. Well, this one note right here, guys, sold for $40.96 with 16 bids. So people know about this. The grading companies PMG and PCGS banknote denote this particular error right on the label. All right, so you know it's a legit error when they do that. So if they sold for 40 bucks, we're just going to use a roundabout number, and there's 100 of them. It's $4,000 for a full strap. That's a lot of damn money. So, yeah, I mean, while you can, all right, the BEP, the Federal Reserve, had announced that they are going to be phasing out star note production because they had received new presses that do non-sequential printing. It's going to be a brave new world here in about 12 to 18 months when our BEP straps are going to be coming into the banks all out of sorts. They are not going to be consecutive. So enjoy it while you can. There are reported straps out there that are mixed up. All right, it's not going to be the same as it used to be for the last like X amount of decades. This is there's a turning of the tide that's happening, and it's happening right now. 1938 D over D repunched mintmark Buffalo nickel, and this one's in really nice shape too. I feel like someone got a pretty decent deal here at $50.50. I believe this is RPM number 1, but go ahead and take a look. You can see the secondary Denver mintmark is punched west of the primary. Even though the pictures are a little bit fuzzy on this one, you could still see that repunching. The 1938 D, which all of the 38 Buffaloes were produced at the Denver facility. There are over mint marks and repunched mint marks. As a matter of fact, we also have this 38D over S. This is an over mint mark variety. This one, I don't know what the attribution number is. I think it could be the FS 511, I think, or 512. There's a couple good ones there. One is a D over D over S, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, this one right here, pretty well circulated. It looks to me like a fine 15, nothing too crazy. But look how clear that one is. You can actually see the inner curl of the S inside the Denver mint mark. This one sold for $13.64. A coin that you could cherry pick out of a bargain bin for about maybe 50 cents to $1. I mean, little things like that make all the difference in the world. All that little bit of profit goes into the same bucket, so you might as well take advantage of it. Neat one here too. I mean, it has no readable date, but we do know it's a pre-1959 wheat cent reverse, off center by about, what, 55, 60%. While it doesn't have a readable date, you know, it is still worth something. $27.07 with 14 bids was your sale price on this example. More Buffaloes. I believe this is from the same seller as the previous two coins, 1929S. All right, so this is kind of a little bit on the minor side of lamination error. And you can see it clearly on both sides of the coin, more so on the reverse. Our good old Black Diamond fellow over here, you know, is having a heck of a time with that big old flap of skin that's coming off the coin there. So this one sold for $26.43. Again, laminations are par for the course for the Buffalo Nickel series. On much higher graded examples, collectors would prefer no laminations, but on the coins that look like this one again, another like fine 12, fine 15 grade, you know, it will certainly enhance the value. Pretty neat mid-air. One of the biggest coins of the week, holy smokes, 1869 over 69. This is a really great Repunched date. Indian has sent. It's a nice high grade coin, but it has issues. Okay, it's got a pretty notable dig under the M in America, number one. Number two, it looks like it's been cleaned. This is a wildly expensive coin regardless. Even if it's AU details, which this one's probably maybe an XF details. It might be an AU details. It's either or, it's close. Even has a little bit of a clash die on the reverse there. You can see the Liberty's profile to the left of 1 cent, but to the right of the wreath there on that left side. And this is always a big one. I mean, you can see the repunching of the 6 and 9. You can see the inner curl of the 9, the bottom part also. FS 303 is a cherry picker's guide variety on this one. And I'm happy to say that on this coin, this is a big sale. Again, a ginormous sale. It probably wouldn't be worth grading because of its condition. $953.99. But this is a coin, if it's straight graded like a Mint State 62 or 63, it's worth like $5,000. So, this is a little bit of a discount on a coin that obviously has some issues. It's not going to straight grade. And people want dedicated Indian head set collectors want coins like this where they don't have to break the bank, but it still has visual appeal. This is one of them. All right. So, again, another classic case of do not grade this if you know ... Same seller from last week had a number of large cents. They're just like selling all of these kind of like really nice looking large cents. Some of them have issues. Like this one looks like it's got some environmental mess on the front and back. That's pretty clear. 1827, what do they call this? Matron head, large cent. And, these are known for their incredible die pairings. This one right here is an N6, which is a Newcomb 6 variety. It could be a variety, but most importantly, it's a die pairing. Collectors of these type of coins like to figure out what the die marriage is on them, and then they're designated in the Newcomb book. It's kind of a rabbit hole-ish type thing, but if you know what you're looking for and you could designate them properly or attribute the Newcomb, then you're going to be okay here. These will typically sell for a pretty good amount of money. The coin looks to be like XF details. It's that nice. Probably VF details, like a high-end VF, low XF details coin. And this one here sold for $91.98 with 18 bids. We also have this 1985 $1 bill. Pretty neat one here. Although not terribly expensive if you do have one. It really depends on the size of the anomaly when we look at the reverse. We have a solvent smear. So the ink and the cleaning solvents mix together to thin it out a little bit, and they run. They run like crazy because it's almost like water. So we have this one here that has that clear kind of dual parallel line action on the reverse. And again, look at the note, man. This thing has been all over the place. You know, it's bought many cups of coffee. You know, probably made change at the hardware store. You just never know. This one here, $17.75 with 7 bids. I guarantee you, if this was a higher grade note, it would probably be like a $50, $60 piece. 1985 $5 bill with a gutter fold. We know this. There was a wrinkle in the subject sheet that was printed over. So when they're cut and then stretched, you know, you have things that look like this. So there's a little bit of the reverse showing that, you know, that gutter is not present, which means the reverse was printed properly. The wrinkle was stretched during that time. It's kind of crazy because the back of the notes are generally printed first. That's the first process. This one sold for $53.25. Here's another 1825 Matron head large set. Pretty decent. It's got a large carbon spot right on Liberty's, right behind the eyeball there. So this one here, Newcomb 3 variety, $122.49, 13 bids. This is probably a little bit rarer die marriage to support the value. Yeah, again, I love these earlier coppers. And one of the neatest ones, there was probably like 10 or 12 of them that did sell here in the last day. Nice overdate. This is the 1824 over 2 Matron head large set. This one is Newcomb 1. All right, so N1 attribution. You can actually see the partial 2 underneath that last 4 there. Pretty wild. And again, this was during a time where the numbers were individually punched into the working die, so there was a lot of errors that happened back in the heyday. Another beautiful one right here, $180.36 with 12 bids was your sale. We have an off-center struck 83p. This is not a rare date for these type of errors, but when they're attractive and when they're BU, that's where it matters most. This one is actually a nice sale. $89.19 is a little bit above what we normally see these sell for. Like, I see them all the time for around 30 to 40 bucks. But there was something about this one that made it extra special, and the seller did put it up as a buy it now list. And one of the coins that I wanted to talk about, it's just going to be a matter of time before this one is going to be sainted into knighthood in the Cherry Picker's Guide. I mean, it's that nice. 2019 Lincoln Shield cent. This is the doubled die obverse #1 coin, featuring very nice doubling, specifically on the date. You can't mistake the date, but also on Liberty and a little bit on In God We Trust as well. So this is a very dramatic doubling. You can just see looking at the date. The date is the major point of interest on this one. Liberty on this one looks like it has a little bit of kind of like strike doubling or machine doubling there. So it obscures the actual true doubling of this coin. But yeah, that date, man, that's a big old fat stretched out 9. You can see how stretched out the 1 and the 0. It's got that cat's eye look to it, and the 2 as well. So for as big as this one is, and boy, once this one enters the Cherry Picker's Guide, this thing's going to take off. But for now, this coin sold for $19.36. All right, and much better examples can be had for between $25 and $30. So true BU type coins, if you could find them, that's kind of the going rate for them. I probably wouldn't wait too long to get these when the powers that be decide to do their next revision of the Cherry Picker's Guide and they add this one in there. Yeah, it's going to change the game quite a bit. 1981A $20 bill. Look at that. This one has the handwritten note variety on the front. Obviously, that does more harm than good, but this one had to be a real banger for me to add this one in here. And it is. I mean, check this out. Wow. Totally misaligned sheet here where you have this happening on the back, but the front is completely centered and fine and looks like nothing happened to it. I'm telling you, you guys got to flip the notes over. This one had circulated a lot, and someone even wrote on the front of the note, like, turn the note over, look at the back, and check it out. You know, and no, it's not a miscut. If it was a miscut, the front would be miscut the same way. It is not that. It's just that the registration was all effed up on this one. Um, so I wasn't at all surprised. This one sold for $428.95. Uh, yeah, that's a real mic drop type note there. 1996p Roosevelt dime with a bisecting shattered die or just a big huge die crack that split that die. This thing is nuts. Um, what was also split were the photos. This person did not take a full obverse and reverse photos. They did little snippets for whatever reason. Um, like we've seen for the rest of the show, please do take full obverse and reverse pictures. It's just going to be a better look. But, I was able to kind of stitch this along just by, pulling what I could from the listing. And you can see that pretty notable bisecting crack on the obverse there. This is a very well-known one. A lot of these are out there. Not a lot of them, but, the ones that did sell, we're all familiar with them. $65.55. At least they got a decent amount of money for it. It wasn't all for naught. Couple more left over here. How cool is this? For as many times as I've seen a 98 and a 2000 wide AM, and on occasion a few 99 wide AMs, I'm glad to see someone sell a 3-pack of all 3 dates. 98, 99, and 2000. Now, of course, 99 is the rarest of them all. That one singular coin, especially in that condition, is a few $100. But when you have all 3 of them here, and they all seem to be kind of like nice, decent minty red coins with the wide AMs, this was kind of special. I like this one. $299.99 on the sale price. And call me crazy, the 99 wide AM looks to be the best coin out of the 3. I don't know. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts. It looks like a true gemmy mid-state red coin, compared to the other 2, which looks like they did circulate a few hands over. And then the last one, it's funny that this one's the last coin because this is probably the craziest coin I've seen in a good while. 2020p National Park Salt River Bay quarter. What the heck is up with this thing? It looks like damaged. People are going to say that, obviously, but in reality, this is a really crazy elliptical, clipped, ragged, end of strip, strike, coin, whatever. And it was sold raw. This was a raw coin, ladies and gentlemen. At the very least, get it into an annex slab. I'm not like one of those people that say, coins need to be graded or not. This is one that I feel like that if you wanted to make more money on it, man, get this thing in a graded slab. It's going to be nuts. You could sell it just about anywhere. I'd probably consign it to Great Collections or Heritage at that point. This thing is wild. And for a coin that's barely 4 years old, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we're all talking about the U.S. mint quality, how things should be a lot better. And then coins like this come out. I am telling you guys. What's a kind of a travesty, because this coin is probably worth about 3x what it sold for. $325 is what this one sold for. And the uniqueness of the mint error, because it's a newer coin and we just don't see elliptical clips that often, especially at this level. This is just an otherworldly piece. And I'm glad to be able to talk about it in this video. This one could have, if I would have waited till Sunday to do the PCMR, I wouldn't have had this in there. But it ended up being our final coin for the day. So, did any of this resonate to the point where you want to go out there and do some hunting? I know it did me, especially with, everything. Everything made me want to go out and look for some of this stuff. And hopefully it did to you as well. Information provided in this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Please do collect and or grade your coins responsibly. I'm your host, Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you, ladies and gents, fine coinaholics of our community. Go out there, find your piece of treasure, have fun, and do your thing. As will I. So I'll see you guys later. Take care. Best of luck in your hunts. And I love you.